Before you watch this video, I'm going to tell you a few things. If you are new, please do not subscribe. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, but please do not subscribe, and that is because if you haven't already seen my video on Logan, a hacker slash bot that's going around, and he's trying to basically take down small YouTube channels. He strings them on, waits until they start getting like a decent amount of subscribers, then hacks into their account, steals it, changes the name, and then sells it on the dark web. So we can stop this if we don't get a lot of subscribers. I mean, he's done it to many people, but I think the only people he's done it to are at least having like a few thousand subscribers. If we stay at our tiny number of 33 or whatever it is right now, I doubt he's going to hack in and take this account. So every video, I'm going to say this just for new people, and please continue to watch the videos. Go ahead and like them, share them. That would definitely help out. We want the channel to grow with viewership, but we do not want subscribers because that will put us at risk. So if you're subscribed, go ahead and stay subscribed, but if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please don't subscribe. Also, check out the Logan video and make sure that you save the link to this channel, the current link to this channel, because if we do get hacked, you can come back and find the bootleg channel, and it'll still have the same link, and it will still be my channel, just the stolen version. That way we can maybe track down the person that took this, that's doing all this, and whoever illegally bought my channel. Also, if we do get hacked, unsubscribe. Just unsubscribe. Report the channel. Just like destroy it, you know, because people are buying the channel so that they will have a bunch of subscribers. And the way to find it is you can just use the link that is saved, or you can just look through your subscriptions, be like, who is this person? I don't have him. And you'll probably see a bunch of totally random Fortnite videos or something, whoever posted those. So yeah, very simple. Save the link. If you're new, don't subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, just stay along in the ride until our channel gets hacked. I'm not saying that it will. Hopefully it will not. But in these times, I'm just trying to do all I can. Alright, let's watch the video. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Backyard series. And today we're doing the 2-week garden update. And yeah, it's been a while since we just showed the garden. We've been working on this fence enclosure for quite a while, and that was in the last episode. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch that, because this will be a little bit confusing. A very large fence enclosure basically for all the trees to keep Leo out and to make sure that, you know, they don't grow in places that would look bad on the patio, or just to protect them kind of. And we're going to build this up into a greenhouse during the winter. But now that that is built, we got 2 gates. Now we can take this down, this ugly makeshift fence. So we're going to do that during this episode, but before we do that, there's a couple things I'd like to show you with the garden, as well as just, you know, a 1-week update. It's only been 2 weeks since we put these plants in the ground, and that may seem like a lot or not a lot. It's really not a lot for how much they've grown, and wow, oh my goodness, they've grown since yesterday. In fact, in the past 3 days, they have been growing like crazy. You wouldn't even recognize them. Of course, like, well, let's take a look at the first field here. Wow, I can't even believe this. Like, I took a look at these a few days ago, and they were not like this at all. I didn't really change much besides, you know, just watering them more. And I guess as the leaves expand, they start to grow exponentially. So yeah, here we have our zucchinis. They're getting a lot of mildew on the top. I don't know how to battle that. I found some good videos. Haven't had a time to check them out yet, but the squash is definitely a lot larger, especially the pumpkin. Like, every day I keep putting my hand here, and 3 days ago, I think, my hand was like, it was already at the edges, and now it's like at least 2 inches all the way around my hand. The tomatoes, they're looking good. I'm gonna water this right now, actually, before we do too much of a tour. Alright, so back to the tomatoes. And I just noticed while watering these, take a look down here. Oh, where is it? Okay, this plant, for some reason, these are, oh yeah, right here. Sorry. We got our first tomato right here. First tomato of the year. Not sure how it was pollinated, probably was hit by the water or something and shook, or maybe a bee came along. We'll talk more about that later. But one thing for sure is the plant that is right here always does the best. I don't know why. I think maybe all the water just runs to there or something, or it could just be because it is in a great place for sun, because it's pretty much in the center, but you know, I would think that these squash are closer. But anyways, yeah, well, let's take a look at the tomatoes. This is exactly what happened last year. For our cherries, they sprawled out a lot, and most people, you know, they don't like growing the leaves, they like growing the flowers and the fruits more, but honestly, more leaves means that you're gonna have more flowers and more fruits. I saw at my friend Elijah's house, they have a giant, well, I doubt they still have it, but last time I was there, they had a giant tomato plant. I don't know if it's a cherry or something. They were very large, about this big, and the plant was dense. It was in a container or like a trellis about this small, but it was basically solid leaves, and there were so many flowers that, because of all the leaves, that it just swelled up, and there were just hundreds of giant tomatoes in there. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for density, and with density, you'll get more flowers. Trees always branch out like this at the start of the year, so hoping I can, you know, pack them in there and maybe start getting some more leaves. I'll look into fertilizers and stuff, but for right now we'll do what we can with what we have. Right here, this is the densest one we have, I think, currently, and that other cherry is doing pretty well too. The middle row started to come back. These were very small when we first got them. They were smaller than the ones back here or in the front, but they are starting to really grow very large, and especially the one on the side and this one here. I'm hoping for this one because this is our big tomato, and we're gonna cook a lot of nice stuff with that. The back row, I don't know, this one isn't really dense, but we got a lot of foliage here, and starting to get some flowers. And this one down here, yeah, we're getting a bit too as well. It's a very, very thick trunk. Very thick trunk right there. That's very nice. This one's more sprawled out, but we're getting flowers. I've been watering all the way at the back. Last year, I just sprayed across. Now you gotta take all these and individually water them. That's what you want to do. So I want to show you this trick that I learned from M.I. Gardener, and go ahead and check out his channel. This is where I get some of my stuff from. And basically, it is a way to get way more tomatoes than you could get. Probably like 4 times more than you're actually getting. And that is by self-pollinating. So if you don't know this already, and somehow I didn't, even though I've done this for a long time, I guess I just got so many fruits off of the bees and just random luck that I didn't think I would need to do this. But last year our tomatoes didn't do too well, even though we got a lot of flowers. So what I learned is the way plants are pollinated is there's the 2 parts, the male and the female part, and they need to be hit together so that they can actually pollinate and grow the plant. And if that doesn't happen, the flower just dries up, falls off at the knuckle right here. So what we're gonna do, and of course this can happen many different ways. If a bee's on it, like shaking it around, then that'll happen. If you're watering it and you hit it with the water and it shakes the plant up, that'll also happen. Bees are the best way, and that's why I want to get bees in here as soon as possible. But we're just so busy as a bee. I don't even know if that can happen. But of course, there's other ways that you can do this. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show you how you can do this. And simply, all you got to do is when the flowers open like this, pistil and stamen exposed, just go like this, shake it, just for about 10 seconds, just like that, and that will knock the pollen around, and that is what will actually pollinate the plant. So you just do that a little bit, and they are pretty strong. I haven't had any of them fall off like this, but what you'll want to do is just wait till a lot of them are blooming, and then maybe go out and do like a whole big bunch of them. And apparently that's what pollinates them. I haven't tried this before, so this is completely new experience, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense why this would work, you know, if you think about it at all. And hopefully this way, because last year I had a ton of flowers drying up and falling off at that knuckle, and I was just like, what's going on? There's not a lot of flowers out here to attract bees, so, you know, why would they ever come to my plants? And of course, once it heats up a lot and everything else is blooming, then eventually bees will find their way to my backyard. But, you know, you got a while to wait before you can attract bees if you're not going to buy your own hive and grow them from that. Anyways, we're probably going to do this a lot with the tomatoes and probably even more with the zucchinis. Whenever I grow zucchinis, probably 50 flowers don't take. I usually get like 10 flowers that bloom and don't get pollinated before I even get one zucchini ready. So if this trick works for the zucchinis once they start blooming, we'll know that it's good, because I get so many zucchini flowers that just they don't take, and you can obviously tell. So if that happens, instead of getting like giant zucchinis, maybe we can get like a bunch, or maybe a bunch more giant zucchinis. Anyways, yeah, let's look at the cucumbers. So these guys are starting to sprawl out on the ground. The leaves haven't gotten bigger, but the vines have definitely gotten bigger, and look at that, we're gonna get some flowers on here soon. These flowers are yellow, just like the tomatoes. All know your flowers. It's a cool thing, I guess. Anyways, yeah, so these are starting to get really long, so we're gonna need to build the trellis soon. I usually build it at the 2-week mark. Today I've been pretty busy. Virtual school is still in session. That's taking away my time, and I've been working a lot over there. But tomorrow I plan to start working on this trellis. Basically what we're gonna do, we don't like to waste stuff or buy extra things unless it's like to make something that will need to be permanent and look nice and be very strong, like that fence. But we are going to use that pile of sticks there to build our trellis for these cucumbers. Just some old string, tie it around, and that's a great thing for them to climb up on. You can make it in like a few hours or so, depending on how elaborate you want to make them. Last year ours was very crazy, like a big spider web for them all to climb on. But it can be made very easily, just sticking some sticks into the ground. And they need to grow up, because they're a vine creeping type of plant. You don't want it to grow on the ground, because then the cucumbers will just be sitting in the dirt and they can rot from all the groundwater when you water it. You want them to grow up, and that's how they get closer to the sun. That's very important. There isn't too much to tell, but because I don't know, they're very simple plants. But for these, I've actually done some work with pruning. With peppers, you can either have them 2 ways. You can have them like this, where their leaves they grow outward, down, and they curl over. You want that. It looks really great. You can obviously tell the plant's really healthy. They're very dark green. It's kind of like this one, a little bit more curling over on the leaves, and that just produces some very large, very nice peppers. This is the second variety, pretty much the opposite, and this will always happen, at least in my experience, but you don't want it to happen so early. The leaves start to shrivel in the way we don't like it for basil, and the stem becomes like it just sprawls out and bushes out at the top. It makes it very easy to fall down. Very small leaves, tons of flowers that don't take, probably because they need to be pollinated, actually. And then this is kind of a middle variety where it's ratioed better, but we really like this variety. And Scott Head, I think, is the channel. It's a great gardening channel, and that's where I got the idea for the pruning. They had a great video on pruning. What they said is basically, when you get the peppers, there's going to be a lot of growth coming towards the center. It'll kind of like shrivel up and just be filled with all these new flowers and shoots, and you don't want that. You want it to grow a lot more before it's going to do that, so that the leaves can compete with all the nutrients being needed to grow the fruits. So you chop off just right there in the middle, and it'll start to grow more on the ground. Like, look at that, there's already leaves coming out of the ground, and it will give you a much better balanced plant. I did it here as well, and you can see there's already leaves growing on the bottom. Those were not growing before I did that, and that will just, you know, that will just make the plant more well-rounded. It's going to be denser. That's what we're going for in pretty much everything in the garden. We're going for density, especially there. That's agroforestry though, a little bit different, but everywhere we just want to pack in as many plants and as many leaves as we can. I also did it, I'm just going to pollinate this guy. On this one, it's a little bit late, you know, they sprout out and then there's just a ton of them going everywhere. I just chopped off a little bit here and here because this plant is not ready for that. You know, the stem gets like small and they just grow super top heavy, kind of like a tree, but there's not really much of a trunk, which is why you need these trellises, unless you have a good well-rounded plant that can support itself. Eggplant, we haven't flowered yet. These flowers are purple, and the peppers are usually white, just in case you didn't know. This thing is growing crazy. Like, the leaves are huge. We always have great eggplants right in this area, and they grow like year-round. I've had one for 3 years. Chopped it out when we redid everything because I don't like eggplant. But yeah, we're getting a lot of growth here, just like, oh, it looks like maybe some flowers even, just like here. So what you would do is chop this out. I'm not going to because I would rather have this eggplant grow up than out because I don't like eggplant and I don't care too much about it. But you can do it. I'm pretty sure it works for most kind of plants, like pepper kind of plants. I don't think it works for these. I think it's a little bit different. But these peppers, just try it out. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to get more well-rounded plant, you should try that, and I'll keep an update on that. Alright, so on the plants over here, the herbs, they are growing also very crazy, especially the dill, and it's starting to sprawl out the way that I don't like, but I don't mind, because I just want a lot of dill, and I've never grown it before. The cilantro is also kind of doing that, but that's okay. I've been using these a lot. We don't have enough to make dumplings yet. We need kind of a lot. We might actually have to buy some. I don't think one plant will cut it, but if it grows like this big, we'll definitely do it, because I want to make dumplings, especially with this homegrown stuff. Basil, a little bit of pests, not too much. I've been catching grasshoppers all over the place. But yeah, we're still staying with the curled leaves. Here, kind of not really, but right here they're curled and they're also getting bigger. Basil doesn't like too much sun. It's not very hardy. And we got a new leaf. Got a new leaf growing off on our fennel here. It's very nice and fluffy. This thing feels so soft, and it's very delicious. Oh, and I think we got like 5 coming out. A lot of like new stuff, and they're getting very large. I wait till the seeds. I like to use the seeds, but you can eat the plant. It tastes like black licorice. Very sweet, very strong, and it grows in the wild very commonly in where I live in California. Right here, the onions, you know, they're just drying out at the tips or rotten. I'm not really sure, but they are growing upward, so I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm sure that stuff will burn out eventually. And as you can see right here, already bigger than in the store, which, you know, it's hard to eat it when they're like that, but it just looks so cool. I'm just gonna let them grow like crazy and just get them like 3 feet tall. Kale is actually ready for our first harvest if we want. I don't really like this kind of kale. I don't know why I grew it. It's very rubbery and thick. This kind's much better for salads, but I grew it for my mom, so I don't know. I'm sure she'll do stuff with it. And yeah, you can harvest it like this, but if you want, you let it grow bigger and keep harvesting. Harvest the top if you want it to grow out, you know. Rosemary here, I don't know. I don't think it's done that much. Rosemary, I have kind of trouble growing it, but that's okay, because I'm sure they grow very large, and I don't need it to grow too big. Alright, I'll stop talking, at least about the plants that we planted recently. I still want to show you some of these before we start getting on, taking down that fence and stuff, but there's just been so much growth. The bananas, they are a bit longer than when we started. You can go take a look at the channel, the first, not even episode, it was just like an intro to the garden. And avocados, there's some of them are getting bigger. Most of them are falling off, unfortunately. If anyone knows about this, please let me know. Chickens, still doing fine. Quail, our one quail we're still getting eggs from every day. The monstrosity here, it is looking beautiful right now. In fact, look at that up there, that really tall thing. That is the Merlot. It already made it all the way up there, and it's sticking up like 2 feet. And it's already starting to grow down onto our fence here. Getting some nice, I've already shown the flowers. Let's see how they're doing. Grapes take a while to grow if you want them to be very big. See, the flowers are never here when I try to film. I can never find any of them. Okay, here we go. They're back here. Yeah, they're starting to get big. We got some little tiny baby grapes on here. Unfortunately, look at how many are not. Actually, no, not that many. Not that many didn't work. Okay, I take it back. I'm not complaining at all about this. Down there, can't really see. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, I didn't know it was like this. Look at all those. Okay, I'm sorry. Look at all those. Those are getting big there. We want them to be like very large though. Like last year they were like this big. Not even edible size. You can even eat them. We need these things to be really big. So I'm gonna check out some good fertilizers for grapes. Specifically wine grapes. Wow. Pomegranate, you know, I don't know if we'll get fruit off this. I don't really care about pomegranate. I care about all the tropical stuff we're gonna put in here. But that won't like fruit for 3 years, so yeah. Okay, this tour is getting very long, I'm sure. Wow. It's getting a bit long, so I tried to take down the fence, ran out of storage right as I started my time lapse. So that's gone. Just giving you a quick look up here. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next episode.